Hello, lovely people. I'm Shaq, and welcome. I've got several things to go over today. One of them is just gonna give you kind of an overview of what I did different for the curtains, and then the rest, there's a rug and something else. I love it when I just go blank and I can't remember what the other thing was. It's right here, and I should be able to look down and have my memory jogged, but it's not working. So we'll just get started. So here are the curtains. I did them a lot different, I think, and I will go over that next week when we do the curtains for the other window and show you what I did differently. And for today's project, you see we have a little TV up there on the mantle, and it is a Christmas TV. It has a cute little Christmas three-dimensional scene in there, and I want to be able to use this TV for like movie night pictures, and so that's the first project we're going to do. Let's go over to the desk and I'll show you how simply going to do that. I printed out some scenes from different movies by just doing a screen cap while some videos from my own collection were playing. Like I pause the video and then do a screen cap to get a little moment out of the videos. And I don't know if you can recognize any of these movies, but this one's really dark, and I don't know if I'll end up using that one, but I really like the movie. But what I am doing is I figured out what size, in order to use poster putty around the edge to put just basically a scene from the video and still have it look like you're watching a movie. So that's it. You cut it out and poster putty it in place. I did, once I figured out what size, like this one came out perfect. This one was pretty much perfect, and I was going to pull this up here and tell me if you know what movie that's from. And some of the other ones are pretty close. They will still work. But this one down here, for some reason, I put it on the piece of paper much larger, and I was going to have to cut it down. And I thought, you know, the easiest way to do that would be to cut a hole in a piece of cardstock or paper or whatever. And this is actually the photo paper that didn't get used. And then use it to frame out which part of this image I wanted, whether I wanted to go further over this direction or further over that direction, to decide how to trim it and be able to see what I was trimming away. So that I thought was a good way to proceed with figuring out which part to use for this. Anyway, it's a really simple method of getting a scene on your TV, you know, just a simple photo paper scene. Like I said, you probably can't see what most of these are, but at least, you know, now I have something that's not Christmas. You really can't tell what that is. Well, make your guesses. Make your guesses down in the comments and tell me what movies you think I've got on here. And we'll see if I can retain what movies they're from when I go to tell you whether or not you got it right. So I also wanted to share, whenever I've been going out to these medical appointments, I have to wear a mask like this. And this is actually Joey's, and it's been used for work. So it's got clay and other, it's dirty. It's really dirty. But anyway, wearing something like this isn't very friendly. And that was has made mask issues for me because I just desperately need it. It makes such a huge difference in how well I can function after going to the appointment, and no one likes going to a doctor's appointment and coming away sicker than when you went in. So I've covered the filters with cotton fabric with fun prints, and hopefully that'll cause the people around me to smile instead of looking concerned, and which is what I usually get. And just so you know, these filters are for vapors. They, you know, airborne vapors like fragrance, but in the industry, there's loads of different vapors that could be in the air. And then there was a cap that you could put over it that had a thick filter for keeping out particles. And so you weren't ever supposed to use this mask by itself. If there was, like, if you were sanding or grinding metal or whatever, you needed to have the other attachment over the top of it to keep particles out. And I don't know whether airborne sickness like COVID and just colds and flus, I don't know if they're particle or whether they're vapor. Let me know if you know. But the mask alone just takes vapors out, and I only wear it to keep the majority of the fragrance and formaldehyde from being an issue, so that I don't get so sick. My skin still gets exposed, and that still causes issues, but it's not the same. It's not as debilitating. And I thought, these guys, this might make it to where I didn't get quite so many confused and angry looks. I have a hard time dealing with that, and you know, I feel like I need to wear a t-shirt saying I'm chemically sensitive and fragrance makes me ill, but you know, who wants to wear that every day? Also something I'm just not into. Anyway, I just cut this out with shears that not pinking shears, but scallop shears, and then it's just a rubber band holding it in place. I wanted to share that, and so far my tests have come back all clear, and I'm still experiencing the problems, so that's disconcerting, but at the same time reassuring. I don't know if I'll get answers. It could be more of the chemical sensitivity, and with that you just don't get a lot of answers. Anyway, let's move on. We are going to do the rug, and this is some stiff organdy, and I was going to back a piece of linen with it. Let's see. So linen, just like that shirt you saw me wearing last year, which I gave to my daughter, and they overdyed it, and I need to make myself a new one, and I have plenty of fabric here to make a new shirt. But yeah, we're going to cut a rectangle out of the linen and a rectangle out of the organdy. But I just like organdy. If you're doing a project like this and you're using cotton, like quilting cotton, it's probably better if you tear it like that, because you'll get a better square to work from. We're going to leave a frayed edge on our rug, and the linen doesn't tear, so this might be really wonky. But I'm gonna go cut out some rectangles. So we have two rectangles here. We're gonna iron them first. So I just turned on the iron. I should have turned it on sooner. But so this was torn. So if I wanted to fray the edge, it's already kind of frayed. It would be fairly easy to keep this square and continue to fray the edge out to where I had a little fringe. That's not what I'm going to do with this piece. This is more to kind of reinforce the linen to keep it stable. So I'll be ironing this out flat, and then putting the seam allowance in, and I think we're going to wait to do that until we know what size this has turned out. So we have one edge up here that has already started to fray. You know, you've got a bit of fiber removed from there, and I tried to get it as straight with the grain of the fabric as possible, but I can see that it is not exactly. So I guess what needs to happen is that I need to pull out those fibers from the edges down to where I got a decent amount of fringe, and no, there's no steam in my iron. It's been dropped too many times. That then I will decide, you know, kind of trimming up the frayed edge, because like this side is longer in this area and shorter over here, And so I'm gonna need to like even it up, I guess. So that's basically all you're gonna do is just, you want a fringe along the edge, you're just gonna pull out until you've got enough so that you can square it off and have that fringe around the edge of your fabric. And I would say that you could do this with, and have it look pretty cool with any fabric that has a bit more, a bit thicker individual yarns within the piece. So what I'm hoping to do is hit a point where this is all one piece, you know? There we go. So this has a long bit down here at this corner, which I'm not surprised. As I ironed it, I was like, well, that's a mess. And then this is gonna have to go a lot further down. We are gonna have a long space right here. This one's probably gonna have a long spot right here. So I'm gonna go off camera and pull threads. Okay, I frayed this out to like a 1/2 inch in the short spots, and now I've got it pinned on here, hopefully square. I did bring this up and try to use it to verify square. I don't know. Over here it doesn't seem to be exactly working for me. And my concern being that when I, pull it out over here, have I just pulled this out of square? And I did. That's okay. So we're going to just pull this in a little. Anyway, I want to press it, get it wet, which I did a little bit, that already evaporated. And then press it, hopefully square, so that it will hold its shape, so I can trim the edges and even those up. Apparently my iron had shut itself off too. So this linen, it wrinkles really easily, really fast. And my pins are glass head pins, so that you don't think I'm over here melting plastic. So yeah, I could think that there's probably other fabrics out there that would be more friendly. But I like the idea. The blue was the right color. I just like the idea of using the linen. I did find a punch kit for making a really pretty rug that had the pile and everything using embroidery floss. I just couldn't afford the tools and the kit. That was just outside what I could do. So I feel like maybe my corners are pulled out further than they should be. This fabric does have a tendency to stretch. And I've just been corrected. I did not give that shirt to my daughter. I gave it to the non-bond. Can't keep the kids straight. Oh gosh, there's a joke in there. So now, I don't know if you guys use these wool things, but they're pretty cool. Just don't put them on. The moisture does go through, and it is heated moisture going through. So you got to be careful about the surface you use it on top of. It's meant for like a crafting cutting table that's got melamine, I guess. I want my longer ruler for this. I don't feel like I've got that. I thought I'd given myself more fringe than that, but I guess not. Now that I've got it lined up both sides. I don't know if this is actually going to work, but we're going to try it and see. So I'm just running the circular pedal along, making confetti, fabric confetti. That does look pretty neat. I'll be able to see it better when I do the side, I think. So again, trying to line up the edge. I'm trying to use the grid underneath to help me keep it straight. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So I'll go ahead and do the other two sides off camera. Okay, I've got my organdy out and I've set it on top of the linen, and now I'm trying to get it square, which of course, you know, it's going about like you'd expect. And then I will fold in the seam allowance. One of the things I forgot to mention on the fringing part of it is you might want a pen or needle or an awl or something to help get the first, or maybe some of the stubborn bits of yarn undone. It's pretty helpful to have that. I didn't end up needing it, but I had one handy. So I'm taking it back, the edge of this, to just within the fringe, so that I'm into the body of the rug. And I know it's going to be different because I was not consistent in how much of the fringing I was able to get on each side. Like, I think I ended up with a 1/4 inch on some of it and 1/2 inch on some of it. And also my piece of organdy may not have been really centered. Kind of feel like it wasn't. But it's going to work. Oh, and on the TV project, it would be really easy to just create a box and stick a paperclip antenna on top to make a TV, and then print out your TV screens to make it look like they're watching TV. I just had the ornament, thought it was adorable, and, you know, we're going to go from there, right? I really like it at Christmas time to have the 3D scene, but I wanted to be able to use it all year without it looking out of place. And thought it was best to have them watching something else. And I'm not even going to say they're my favorite movies or anything. They weren't. One of them is, but they're just movies that I have and I like, and I pulled scenes from. If I'd, I don't know, if I'd put more effort into it, and I might do it later, I would, I'm also limited to whatever my son has uploaded. I don't have a disc player, and all of our movies are, of course, on disc, and he's putting them on a server that we have here that we can all access. And yeah, when you have he builds websites too, if you're interested. Does a pretty good job. He did my website for the store, and he did the website for Mudwood, and all the cross-referencing. He also has done the drive-in movie theaters website here locally, and he hosts it as well. So if that's something you're looking for help with and you're kind of old school, he's actually pretty good at communicating what has to be changed and what we can get away with keeping the same, and not charging you for every little thing, which I am noticing the Shopify type stuff is doing. They sell you something new instead of fixing the problem. Has been working with the former owner of the pottery to do them up a website, because they still make things, just not on the production level. He needed to back away from production. That's fair. He's past retirement age. Anyway, so he's been trying to work with him to come up with something he's happy with, and he thought, well, he was just going to cut some corners, and he just went and got himself a Shopify store, and then found out that he was being charged for things that he didn't need, and it wasn't fixing the problem. So I think we're okay now. It's not exact, but I think it'll work. And then this is going to be the bottom of the rug. So I flipped it over to where the raw side is to the inside, and then I will just whip stitch this. And this is probably going to be an evening project for a couple days. Hopefully I will get it done before next week's video. Also, you may have noticed that the video was this video came out on a Friday, not a Wednesday, and I think I'm going to stick to that schedule of Fridays for now. It just seems to work out better. Anyway, I'm going to pin it in place before I take it off of here, and then I'll have it ready to be whip stitched together, and it's going to take me a minute. Let's go back over and look at the TV in place. I rearranged the furniture a little bit to make it look like they were watching the video up there. And as you can see, we've got that first scene that I showed you, and it looks really cool. And you can tell that this is a very, very simple TV design, so it would be very easy to make out of a cardboard box, a pre-made cardboard box. So I hope it inspires you to go out and make something, and that you have a delightful day and a wonderful week. And be kind to those wearing masks. They aren't always wearing them because they're crazy. Just sometimes. Bye-bye.